Tommy Boyd now. 0171 412 1152.
So, chickens. Chickens. Fantastic noise. Never heard it in real life. Don't suppose it goes on, except maybe in the outer reaches of Britain, where we don't actually go anymore. Chickens. Chickens are going to be all over the news today because they're campaigning to do away with battery hens, battery farms. 01714121152. We'll swing the phones open, and between now and 10 o'clock we'll kick some chickens around. Kick the idea of chickens, kick the whole business of chickens around. I thought it was quite interesting. Marcus, you there? I thought it was quite interesting that the first glut of calls that we took about chickens were from people, all of whom were in favour of battery farms. Not only because obviously it's a more productive way of creating cheap chicken meat and cheap eggs, but because they said the chickens were happier and safer in a battery farm.
When it comes down to it, they're chickens.
The chickens. I know. They are chickens.
I mean, I've never been anywhere in my life where there's been a disaster and anybody's went, is there a chicken in the house?
No, they're really very low down, aren't they, on the scale of things. In fact, I can't think of a complex... Are they mammals? No, they're not. They're reptiles.
I don't know.
Well, they're descended from dinosaurs, so they must be reptiles.
Well, there's a strange fact here that we got it off the internet just there. In the event of nuclear war, scientists reckon that only cockroaches and chickens will survive.
Yes, that's quite possible. That goes to show, doesn't it, what a simple life form that they must be. 0171412 1152 is the number. So chickens. You see, I mean, I kept 4 chickens. We moved out of London a bit, and I kept... Can we help you? Woman, come in. Can we help you?
Are you doing St. Clair at the moment?
No, we've done that earlier on.
It was really boring.
Yeah.
We've got nowhere.
Get through, she'll be phoning for like half an hour.
I'll phone her back after the show.
Yeah.
Definitely talking.
What does she want? Do we know?
What does she want? Do we know?
She wants to go out on air and talk about asthma, but...
Is she?
I said, we can't come through to me, you need to go and...
No.
to the studio.
So she's trying to get on the air any way she can. That's clever. I like that. Well,
I presume she wanted to talk. There was just a kind of wheezing on the other end of the phone. We don't know.
You shouldn't say things like that, you see.
I never said that.
No, I didn't say it either. I expect the listener thought it. 01714121152. No, chickens it is, between now and 10, if the office needs to know. Chickens. So I had 4 chickens, okay? One of them died. It was horrible.
How?
Well, we don't know.
Okay.
But my wife went down to get the eggs one morning and to make sure they were all right. Because when you have chickens, in the end, you just make sure they're all right.
Do they just keep on laying eggs, no matter what you do?
They do.
They don't have to be...
Yeah. No. You have to feed them a lot. They eat a lot. They eat a lot. And they're expensive.
What do they eat?
Well, you can buy this mix for them.
Right.
Which you put in a bowl or scatter around. You're supposed to scatter it around because they need some stones in their throat.
Oh, yes. So it grinds the...
Yeah.
Oh, yes, I know.
They don't chew their food. So what happens is if they swallow a whole piece of grain, it has to be masticated somewhere. So what they do is they eat a lot of stones, and they keep these stones in a grip bag in their throat. And then the grain goes down into the grip bag, and then the chicken gets its throat and goes... like so. And that manoeuvres the grain around inside the taut grip bag in its throat and breaks down the husks of the grain and renders it digestible. It is fantastic. It is fantastic.
And we thought they were just chickens.
They're still...
You know,
chickens,
ducks don't swallow.
They eat stones. Ducks don't swallow.
No, hardly any birds swallow. That's why they have to tip their head up.
Yeah.
Because they can't swallow.
It goes down what gravity pulls it down.
Yeah.
Hasn't it? Have you ever drunk a glass of water upside down?
Yeah. Well, that's why pregnant women get heartburn, you know. Because you know how you've got a sphincter halfway down your...
Yes.
And if you're pregnant, then the baby kind of pushes it up and your sphincter opens up, and that's why your gastric juices get back into your pipe, or whatever it's called, and you get heartburn.
I do remember seeing, one day when I was at school, they showed a film, they put a camera inside, somebody swallowed a camera. Why they didn't gag. but they swallowed a camera, and you were able to see how your throat, is it reticulation? I can't remember what the term is, for where the muscles sort of work in coordination to push the food down.
Like a snake?
Yeah, like a snake. So the food gets pushed down by the muscles. It's not gravity. So then they showed a man drinking a glass of water upside down, which you can do. And it's just that's a thing. Do you understand in your head?
I used to when I was younger.
Yeah, it does you no good, doesn't it? You hope you're going to be able to think more clearly because of the blood.
Yeah, when you were at school, you used to do it, didn't you? You used to watch the girls do it, because you used to tuck their skirt in their knickers and then do handstands.
They used to do that round the back of the girls' loos, yeah. It always ends up with sex, doesn't it, conversation? But we are looking into the business of chickens.
Chickens and chickens.
But the other thing was, though, the fox got the chickens. We went down from 4 to 3 because one of them died. We think it was egg-bound, but we don't want to know what kind of a death that was. Oh, okay. You wouldn't, would you?
Yeah, we need some Imodium or something.
The other 3 were taken by a fox, except they weren't taken. The fox just killed them. So I came home from work, and there were no chickens clucking in the pen. They were all dead. Now, what to do with them? Do you eat them?
I don't think I would eat them. I don't fancy eating them after a fox has kind of had a go.
Just snap their necks, man.
Which you would do, you would have to stretch their necks anyway, wouldn't you?
I buried them. And I said a brief prayer. Because you do, don't you?
Then 6 months later the dog dug them up.
Let's discuss chickens and all that we know about chickens and decide whose side we're on. I was vaguely surprised that the first tirade came not from those who are concerned about animal rights, but from those who think we've gone too far and we really should not be worrying about chickens. They're perfectly happy in battery farms. They don't know anything else. 0171 412 1152. It's LBC.
Call Tommy Boyd now. 0171 412 1152.
The head of LBC's audio, come in here for a second, who knows a thing or three about stuff, is Ollie.
Morning.
And he passed me in the corridor as I was running back, having collected all the internet information available about chickens. And Ollie gave me this bombshell.
Did you know that if you chop a chicken's head off, it will carry on squawking?
For how long?
I don't know.
But it carries on squawking.
Apparently,
Making
the voice
noise.
box of the chicken
Yes.
is above its neck or something, or
Or
something.
where they cut its head off.
You can chop its head off and the head will keep squawking
Right.
without a body attached to it.
Where did you pick that bit up?
Don't know.
One of those things.
Yeah, it's just one of those things.
Thank you, Ollie. Nice one.
More useless chicken information coming.
Come on, you follow.
Oh, look.
Now, the programme's producer, Julia, has been surfing the internet to find out some more substantial facts about chickens, although there's quite a bit of legendary stories about chickens having their heads cut off and, well, as Ollie said, carry on squawking and living, running around after their head's been cut off.
Makes me think of that bit in Withnell and I when they're trying to kill the chicken and they haven't got the guts to do it.
Right.
And they stare it out.
Could you kill a chicken?
No problems.
Could you kill a chicken?
Of course I could kill a chicken.
If I gave you an axe and a
Rip
tree...
its head off.
Seriously? What's the biggest thing you've ever killed?
Oh, nothing that big I wouldn't have thought. You just rip off a chicken's head, isn't it?
I killed a crab once on the beach at Whitley Bay and regretted it ever since.
How did you kill it?
You don't want the details. It was a quick death.
Did you pull off its legs?
No, it was a rock.
Oh.
I know. But boys do, and I think they should be excused that. And I killed a snake accidentally once. But anyway, 0171 1152 is the number. We're talking about chickens, tail-coating the story that the campaign is refreshed, the campaign which is trying to close down battery farms. So we thought we'd get Julia to find out some more information about chickens, something substantial. What have you got on the internet?
Well, if you put the word chicken in on the internet, you get all sorts of baloney, quite frankly. You get all this stuff about psychic chickens, about Jamaican jerk chickens, and about chuckies, which is, of course, Australian, the chickens.
Yeah.
Chicken chuckies. And a whole load of stuff from Animal Aid, all sorts of campaigns about factory farming. Did you know rabbits are battery farmed as well?
I did not.
Well, rabbits, yeah.
Where? In this country?
I presume so, yeah. Yeah.
No, I didn't know there was
Not just chickens.
that's been kept top secret for obvious reasons.
Well, I'm not surprised. I've just let it out. I do apologise.
I know that they farm trout,
Yeah.
and they farm salmon.
Yeah.
And apparently there's this insect that can infest the trout and salmon. And all they do is they make sure that they process the things quite nicely so that you don't get any insects in your trout and your salmon.
Well,
Sorry, Reed.
it seems Bugs Bunny's getting it as well.
Okay.
But there's all sorts of facts from Animal Aid about battery farming with the poultry industry, they call it. Did you know every day 2 million chickens and 100,000 turkeys are slaughtered for food in the UK? And what they do is they feed them on high protein food and kill them when they're about 6 weeks old. And that is the fate of your chicken in a battery farm.
A lot of people can remember when chicken was a luxury. You could afford it about once a year. And then suddenly, for no apparent reason, chicken plummeted and you could have it 3 days a week. And of course it was the battery farms that made that possible. And I suppose Colonel Sanders is all the more pleased for them.
Oh, I bet he's chuffed.
You know, because if you were a chicken, you would definitely want to take the guy out, wouldn't you?
Until
This
mad-
is the Antichrist of chicken.
Until mad chicken disease comes our way, I'm sure they'll do very well.
01714121152. It's chickens. Top of the news agenda. Until 10, you're listening to LBC Breakfast. I'm Tommy Boyd. Talking chickens and stuff, and Bob's called from Raynham. Bob, you're on LBC. Hi.
Oh, hello there. A couple of things. Firstly, we're looking for the word for when all the muscles work in unison when you swallow, and the word is peristalsis.
Say it again.
Peristalsis.
Peristalsis.
Yeah, that's the word. Anti-peristalsis is when you're sick.
Is it exactly the same operation, only in reverse when you're sick?
But yeah, it's the muscles come the other way, don't they? They
No,
bring all
I
the
didn't.
stuff
No,
up.
I don't agree with that. I'm inclined to think that what happens when you're sick is that your stomach contracts and.
Yeah, but the muscles have to bring it up the throat, and that's anti-peristalsis.
So what actually is the muscle that triggers the what should we call it to be polite? Evacuation. Let's call it an evacuation.
Evacuation. I don't think it's a muscle. I think it's a nerve that causes it, isn't it?
But is it the action of the stomach or the action of the esophagus and the connected tissues, the tube?
Well, I believe that possibly it's initiated by the stomach, but obviously it's got to be brought up the trachea and out through the mouth. But
Yes.
obviously the muscles have to work in reverse to bring it up and force it out.
Yeah.
It's horrible. But anyway, chickens.
Yes.
Up in Scotland, I've got a little holiday cottage in Scotland, and the chap next door keeps chickens. Hundreds of them.
Yeah.
And he keeps them for show. So at 6 o'clock in the morning he's up there washing them and powdering them and putting them in little cages. He's got about 30 different types of chickens, silkies and bantams and goodness knows what. And it's a big thing up there.
Because I suppose they don't get foxes up there, do they?
Well, they do, yeah, you get foxes, but he keeps them quite safe. And there's big sort of like circuits of shows. I've been to a couple with him, to be friendly. And you get there are game chickens that look like pheasants and all sorts of chickens.
It's funny what people do, isn't it?
Yeah, to me.
By way of a hobby.
Yeah, that's right. But
Showing chickens is almost as strange as it gets.
Well, I suppose like showing pigeons and all, it's the same sort of thing. But yeah.
It's just kind of one-upmanship, isn't it? And yet, like as with gardening, the success or quality of the chicken is down to nature, not your mate in Scotland.
Yeah, oh no. I mean, they've been bred. I mean, there are hundreds of different breeds of chicken. There are different chickens for meat and different chickens for eggs.
Did you ever come across, when you were a boy, that story about the chicken tracks that were left in the giant chicken tracks that were left in the snow in Devon about 1876?
No, I've never heard of that one.
Yeah, I mean, it does the rounds, this one. If you ever pick up a book about monsters or ghosts...
There are certainly some big chickens, because he's certainly got some big ones.
Has he? How big's his biggest chicken?
He keeps ferrets as well, so ferrets and chickens, they go well together.
Well, Bob, thanks for your call. And what's it again? Anti-peristalsis. Mom, I think I'm going to suffer
Peristalsis.
peristalsis.
Have a good day.
Oh, shut 'em up.
Bye.
Marcus. It would be completely out of the question to get hold of a chicken in half an hour, wouldn't it?
I don't know. Because we could maybe ask Ian Abrahams, because you know how sometimes at the weekend he covers cockfighting in the sport. So I was wondering if we could maybe ask him if he's got any contacts.
It would be big if it were.
Yeah.
If they were doing it, wouldn't it? It would be very big. They used to arm them, didn't they?
What, with knives?
Yeah.
No.
Do you not know much about cockfighting?
No.
I've seen an exhibition of the weapons. They used to... Yeah.
Seriously?
Right. First of all, they used to strap blades to the chicken's heels.
Oh, jeez.
One of the ways that chickens attack people and other chickens is by flying at them, right, and then raising their feet with their talons so that they hit the other chicken talon first. Are you with me? Can you visualise that? It's a bit like somebody getting ready for an examination, that sort of physical posture. Okay? So what they would do is they would fit an artificial talon onto the heel of the chicken. Hi, Dougie, we're just talking about chickens. Come through, Dougie. Doug's the man who'll know about chickens. And then they also put weapons on their wings as well, just to make the whole thing a little bit more theatrical.
He's on the wrong mic.
Is it...
Can we ask Douglas to come onto the green one, please?
Doug, can you come around the other side, Dougie? There's a technical thing here. We're talking in a very casual way, Dougie, about chickens. And I always like your wisdom, because you always seem to know a little bit more than most people about
I don't know. I don't know much about chickens.
I bet you do. I bet you do. Have you ever kept them?
No,
Never
I
had
know
them in the
you
family?
have.
I had 4, and then the fox got them.
No, I haven't.
But there was that biz, wasn't there? I mentioned it a moment ago. Do you remember when chicken was an absolute luxury?
Yes.
You had it once a year.
Yep.
And then almost overnight, it was 37 pence a pound.
That's right. And very commonplace now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Delicious. I enjoy it.
You did?
I did chicken last night. Lovely.
Only the other day, Anne was talking about something else, and Anne was food poisoning she was talking about. How you know when your chicken's cooked on the inside? Or do you not do the cooking at home?
I don't.
Oh.
I don't cook at all,
You wait
Tom.
till it's
I'm
on-
one of those old-fashioned pieces of men. My generation didn't do too much cooking.
Fair enough.
So I'm delighted that the missus does a lot of it. But I was talking to somebody about E. coli the other day, and I think it was on this program as well it was mentioned that the very simple remedy is to cook everything thoroughly.
Yeah.
But how do you know when it's cooked
Exactly.
thoroughly? That's the problem, isn't it?
Do you know the other thing that we keep doing? And we've only just stopped doing it in our house when somebody pointed it out. If you've got a bit of hot food, you put it on the side, don't you?
Yes.
You eat.
Yes.
And you're going to save it.
Yeah.
You put it in the fridge.
Yeah.
But you shouldn't do that.
No.
Not until it's got down to room temperature.
That's right.
Because it heats the fridge up.
Yeah.
And when the inside of the fridge gets warm, then that's when whatever bacteria is waiting to develop inside the fridge can happen.
Now, speaking as one who's never cooked anything substantial at all, it is just common sense, isn't it, really? But a lot of people don't have any common sense.
You see those? I like it. 0171 412 1152 if you want to join the conversation. It's LBC Breakfast, it's 9:30.
London. Tommy Boy 171 412 1152.
Number to keep listening out for the sound of a jet taking off, and you call 0171 412 1152, and the 52nd caller gets to go on a weekend escape, which is a luxury location somewhere on planet Earth. We're talking about chickens, and you heard the Full Metal Jacket there from Douglas of what it's all about. But we just don't know enough about chickens, or maybe we know too much about chickens. But then, as with all conversations, it leads to other things. We talked to a man who sometimes weekends in Scotland, where his next-door neighbour keeps chickens for show, as well as ferrets. And I mentioned that it's quite remarkable what some people do by way of a hobby. And Steve called, he's mobile. Whereabouts are you at the moment, Steve?
Heathrow, Combo.
Heathrow?
Yes. Tommy, I'm wondering, seriously, the thesis of where I want to come from is are chickens the way forward? I mean, as somebody who has always enjoyed physical recreation, and the body at 42 is starting to fall apart, the knees won't take the running, there's a constant injury that just sort of moves from upper body to lower body and into the arms. I'm wondering, are chickens a serious way forward to maintain a hobby?
Jeff Capes would probably say yeah, and he's fit.
Well, yes. I mean, I can still get 100 on the bar, I can still run 3 or 4 miles, but, you know, that's no good, is it really? It's not competitive stuff. And for somebody who's always experienced reasonable enjoyment from that way of life, from that way of spending one's leisure time,
Yeah.
I'm seriously considering running round the pen, trying to catch the daily lunch.
You can't catch a
An
chicken.
alternative.
I'm going to tell you, Steve, as a man who's kept 4, you can't catch chickens.
You cannot.
No, you can kind of shoo them. Do you remember how Gary Lineker...
Introduction of a first-class order. Tell me.
Do you remember how Gary Lineker used to run around the penalty area when the other team had the ball?
6.5 yards of it.
No, he used to have both arms out and his hands, palms spread, about knee height, and he seemed to be shooing the ball.
Right.
And that's how you go after chickens, but you never catch them.
What about the diving technique, Tom?
It doesn't work.
Spreading yourself.
You don't do that because you don't... No, you never let yourself touch the ground where a chicken has been. I'm not going into details, but you do know what I mean.
I think it's translating.
Lost chicken waste is one of the most acrid and unpleasant substances I've ever had to have as part of my life, and you don't want it.
So for the fallen sportsman, Tom, do you think chickens are the answer? Are they the way forward?
What can you get on the bar?
100.
Is that a press or are we talking a bench?
kg. Bench press.
The bench press, 100 kilos.
Yeah, plus 20 on the bar.
100 kilos is pretty good. What are you weighing at these days?
14.5.
I'd stay in the gym for the time being.
Yeah, but Tom, it's the same injury that keeps moving about. It's talking to me.
Where is it now?
It's in the shoulder. It's moved from the elbow to the shoulder. I think it's a rotor cuff.
I think you know your own body, Steve, and that means you will live to a ripe old age.
Words of wisdom, Tommy, of the like I haven't heard before. Bye-bye.
You're welcome, Steve, any time. 0171 412 1152. LBC Breakfast. No, it's not just chickens, though, is it? It's the whole poultry family, really, if you ask me. I've never seen a turkey in real life. Has anybody? I've seen a dead one.
I've seen a dead one. Turkeys are good, though.
Good?
Can you get turkey at any other time of year?
Yeah, you can, but I lived around the back from a turkey farm once, and they breed them all to come to full weight at around about the same time, which is twice a year. Their big sale, obviously, is November, December. And they have a lot left over. I don't know what happens to them. Although I do know what they do with the waste.
What?
Which is spread it on fields.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not good, because it seeps through into the water table, and the nitrates in the slurry turn into nitrites in the stomach. And hooray, a health scare.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah.
It's a cancer-causing chemical, so hey, a health scare. Gotta have a... Never let a day go by without a health scare.
I've got one brother and a mother and father, so that's four of us in the house. But at Christmas, my mother liked to buy a £30 turkey. You know, we ate it until, I would say, about January the 15th.
Yeah.
We did the turkey stew, turkey curry, turkey soup, turkey casserole, like a turkey sandwich.
Chicken soup is supposed to be, what they call it, the Jewish penicillin, don't they? And I know there's that, what's that Woody Allen film where the guy's really hungover and he's due to give a concert and Woody Allen's his cheesy agent and the guy gets very, very drunk and can't go on stage and Woody Allen brews him some chicken soup and it kind of goes halfway to curing him. But what is it in chicken?
Annie Hall?
Annie Hall?
Annie Hall?
No.
Annie Hall.
Laying the eggs at the end.
He uses chickens like... Aren't there giant chickens in Sleeper?
Yes, and there's massive eggs.
Massive chickens. Do they ride... They're not ride chickens in Sleeper. You see, chickens... This is the thing. Chickens are funny in America. Fish are funny in Britain. But no one really knows why. It's true. I mean, fish... I think it's partly because fish are the tool, the fundamental tool of the surrealist in art, as you know.
Fish, they've got a strange kind of Tommy Cooperness and Eric Morecambeness about them.
Yeah.
They don't have to do anything to be funny.
Well, the Monty Python team wrote a little catechism, what is funny, and it started with fish. It went, hold on, fish, bananas, old pyjamas, buttocks, boils and string, in that order, are the funniest things. And there's something in that. I'm just getting the top 10 things you didn't know about chickens off the computer, and some of them are very interesting. What have you got?
Well, most chickens' favourite time of year is Easter, which is quite lame, isn't it? Chickens can't blow.
They can't exhale.
They can't exhale. I don't know what that means for...
They have two nostrils in their beak, and I know that when they de-beak chickens, have you seen that going on?
Why do you de-beak a chicken?
Well, because in battery farms they would peck each other and damage the flesh, so they couldn't be eaten. So what they do is they've got this little machine, and it looks like a very small cigar cutter, you know? Like a guillotine in miniature. Like you would take to a, if you were going to execute a hamster humanely. Okay? And what they do is they just put the chicken's beak through there when they're about 6 weeks old, little babies, and then pull the lever. and the beak drops in the basket, and there's a tiny drop of blood. But they say the chickens feel no pain. It's a bit like us having a haircut. But they have a little nostril which is retained by the beaking operation. I don't know why.
I think once you start to poke below the surface, it gets kind of inhumane, the way we treat chickens, doesn't it?
Well, I think the way we treat everything is inhumane. I think the way we treat... I mean, I'm going to be philosophical for a second, can I?
Okay.
I think the way we treat ourselves is inhumane. I think we should all be taken to the court of human rights for the way we treat ourselves. I mean, each of us. I mean, the way we treat our own personalities and the way we treat our own existence is inhumane.
Well, this is what this guy was on this morning. Have I still got the stuff?
Go on.
You know, when I went out this morning?
Yeah.
And I went to Buckingham Palace.
Yeah.
I got the press release from the guy. And the reason that
The guy is going to be arrested later today.
2 o'clock, he's going to be naked with 100 of his followers outside Buckingham Palace. And by protesting, we the protesters are hoping to change laws that are indicative of inhumanity.
Yeah.
In justification of our actions that desire a change of law, we will cite Article 10, which is freedom of expression, from the European Convention for the Protection of Human Rights. There was a bit that I didn't really understand. What was he talking about? The fact is going to hell here.
They believe society's mentally ill, don't they? That's what they...
Yes, hegemonic, oligarchic governmental control. Well, I don't know what that means.
No.
But he says, he ends it with this premise that the premise is that this society, every member included without discrimination, is suffering from mental illness. The human mind at present is mentally retarded. Society is mentally ill. So we should be allowed to get our arse out, basically. And
Most of the time, you'd certainly go along with that, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah.
We'll read the facts out if it's legible and broadcastable.
It's from
in a
a
minute.
chap called Paul.
It's from a chap called Paul, and he says the Woody Allen film was Broadway Danny Rose.
Thank you, mate. Nice one. 01714121152. Chickens and the meaning of life. It's 10 to 10 on LBC Breakfast. And we're discussing chickens, and somehow it seems to...
Greg's on one. He's got a good point about the chicken mentally ill thing.
Let's do that then. Hi, Greg.
Hello, Tommy.
All right, boy.
Tommy, who was this guy that said the whole of society is mentally ill?
What's the guy's name again? The guy who's running the...
Vincent Bethel.
We had him on the show earlier. He's doing a naked protest outside Buck House. Anyway.
Right, either he's setting himself up to be, sort of higher and mightier than any of us, or the point he's making is kind of backfired, because if the whole of society is mentally ill, doesn't that make that the norm? Doesn't that mean that sets a different benchmark, doesn't it? Then we're not mentally ill, because that's the norm, and anyone who's what we'd previously call sane, they'd become mentally ill, wouldn't they?
Well, you, of course, it's a perfect point, as one would expect from someone of your calibre.
Thank you very much.
Not at all, any kind. No, you're quite right. I suppose you should have said maybe we're not as happy as we could be.
Yeah.
We'd go along with that, wouldn't we?
Yeah, kind of. I still want to see the pictures later, though. I wonder if it'll be on London tonight.
Oh, it should be everywhere if he gets arrested.
Fantastic.
But what you've got to do is get yourself covered with a policeman's helmet. Do you remember the Jesus lookalike streaker at Twickenham donkeys years ago?
Twickenham, that's right, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, but it was only the policeman's helmet that got him on the... that made it one of the most famous pictures of a streaker.
Yeah. Okay, so...
I'll let you go. There's the phone.
There it is. Thank you very much.
No,
Tommy, take care.
Yeah, I was talking to Marcus and Julia and the rest of them a couple of minutes ago. You kind of have these corridor conversations. You wander around a bit and then do some stuff. We're all basically not quite sure what we're supposed to be here for. This is the crux of it. This is why people are fundamentally mentally ill, physically ill as well, I reckon. It's because, and this is why we're worse off. I mean, you, my friend, listening to this, you are worse off than any battery chicken, because you know. Battery chicken doesn't. I mean, I know animal rights people will say, how do you know that? But I think you can take that as given. A chicken doesn't know. You do. That's why we should be kinder to ourselves. 01714121152. What else have we got through there? I've now got through the top 10 things you did not know about chickens.
I had some more, but...
Well, I've arranged them into 10 of all the stuff there is to know about chickens. Chickens are the direct descendants of dinosaurs, and if you look at chicken tracks, if you look at their feet, that's just what the T-Rex feet look like in Jurassic Park.
I remember the thing you were talking about, the giant chicken tracks.
Yeah.
I remember reading them.
Right, we'll come back to that. Number 2. The record for a chicken living after its head has been cut off is 278 days. And that is documented.
How did it eat?
They used an eyedropper
Down its neck.
down its esophagus. Its exposed esophagus.
See, this was probably a controlled experiment. It wasn't just like running about a garden somewhere.
The photo that I saw attached to it had it in a farm. The guy cut its head off and the chicken just went for a run, as apparently invariably they do. You wouldn't want to be in a chicken abattoir, would you, if that's how it goes?
A bit crazy.
bit crazy.
Bit crazy.
Because Ollie came in earlier on and said the heads carry on squawking and the body's carrying on running around.
They can't.
He can't-
How long does the head carry on squawking for then?
He didn't say.
Could you post it to someone?
It would be kind of the lock, stock and two smoking barrels version of The Godfather, wouldn't it? In theirs they get a severed stallion. Over in Bethnal Green we get a bit of a chicken head.
Chicken head.
Number 3. The record number of yolks in one egg is 7. You know you sometimes get double yolks? Number 4. Young boys regularly jockey giant Zhuhai chickens in an annual race which takes place in Zhejiang province in China. The largest recorded chicken weighed 27 kilos, which is, what's that?
What's that? 50 odd pounds, 3 stone,
3.5 stone, something like that. Famous fictional chickens include Foghorn Leghorn. Do you remember Roots?
Yeah.
There was
Yeah.
Chicken George. And all the chickens in Animal Farm.
Foghorn Leghorn's like that guy at Coronation Street.
Which one?
The one that's the butcher, and he always goes, there, boy, I say, boy, I say, boy, I'll tell you, boy. What's his, Ashley's father or uncle? Runs the butchers.
I don't know, I don't watch
Oh, I
them.
don't know.
People who are cowards are called so because of the French chacan, which means frightened.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cockfighting was outlawed in 1876, but still happens illegally in this country. Chickens have a smaller IQ than spiders.
Really?
Yeah. Which when you think it through.
Pretty stupid.
You wouldn't ask either of them a searching question, would you? The average person eats a total of 190 chickens in their lives.
I would have thought it was more.
190 it says down on the information. So, and Steve Allen joins us to parade his show, which begins at 10 o'clock. So why don't you hush things down next door, and I'll move the subject on. Unless, of course, Steve wants to tailcoat anything on the chicken issue.
No.
No?
Don't eat chicken now.
Good for you.
It's infected.
There's that. There's always something to... Steve, we were talking on the breakfast show day before yesterday. Can you think of one food that definitely is safe?
No. We're talking about Scientology, British Airways.
I don't know why you come in here and insist on saying what's in the show. It doesn't make any difference.
Of course it does.
It doesn't make a
Major on,
slightest
just to me. 11 o'clock is Health Dr. Rob Hicks and Ben Webb, and then it's Stein bursting around Whitechapel. Makes a lot of difference to me.
Well, in that case, Ben, we should do it more often. Well, how much do you want tomorrow?
Sorry? I thought 4 hours, you peaked.
Steve Allen here from 10, and then, of course, at 1 o'clock, it's Douglas Cameron with a full wrap. Talk to you tomorrow at 6.